Namo Dasa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Buddha.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sammasambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato.
Namo Dasa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. So long time no see. So it is good to see again, to be with you again. So far, we discussed about the materiality, which is one of the two components parts of all sentient beings. So two component parts, we are made up of two component parts. One is nama, mentality. The other is rupa, materiality. Though we may be different from person to person, in terms of color, appearance, and so on, but we are the same in terms of having just two component parts, nama and rupa. So, firstly, we have to know ourselves. Okay, so what we have, we are very lucky to be interested in who we are, to be who we are. We are nothing but the mentality and materiality. So among the materiality also, basically we have two types of materiality. One is four great elements. So four great elements, they are water, Patavi, Abo, Dejo, Vayo. So it is translated as the earth, Abo, wind, Abo, water, and then Vayo, wind, Tejo, fire. So these four elements are there. So the other rupa that derives from these four great elements, they are called Ubadha Rupa. The Ubadha Rupa, derivatives, they derive from the four great elements. So the Rupa also arise because of the four great elements. It is obvious because when you see, when we study characteristic, function, manifestation, proximate cause of these rupas. Okay, we have a study altogether, I think 18 rupas up to the ahara, nutriment. So these rupas are produced by the four great elements. Okay, so among these 18 rupas that we have studied, so 14 rupas, they are derived from the four great elements. Okay, so that's why these four great these rupas can be called as the four great the derivatives or the rupas that derive from the four great elements. So far we have studied 18 rupas. Okay, 18 rupas studying from the Patavi earth element up to the ahara, nutriment. Okay, so in the Avidamata Sangaha, in the document that has been shared with you, okay, there you can see okay, here paragraph number 11. Okay, up to 10 we have done, we studied. So number 11 is Idija Atharasa Vidam Vidam Rupam Atharasa 18. Vida means various. So they are very, these rupas Okay, they are different. So in number, so number. Okay, Salakana Rupam, Nibbana Rupam, Rupa Rupam, Sammasana Rupam. So they got a specific names, specific 5 names are given by the Abhidhamma Sangha. Sabhava Rupa, Salakana Rupa, Nibbana Rupa, Rupa Rupa, Sammasana Rupa. Ja, Sangahanga Jadi. So they are counted or enumerated. Or now we already explained or studied these rupa. So why they are called as Sabhava Rupa? Okay. Today we study about that Sabhava Rupa. Sabhava means Sabhava. Sa Bhava Sabhava. Sabhava. So it has the Rupa materiality which has its own characteristics, is intrinsic characteristics. So that's why it has its own nature. So that sort of Rupa is called Sabhava Rupa. For example, for the Patavi Dhatu, earth element, it has a characteristic of hardness and softness. Okay, so this hardness and softness is the intrinsic characteristics or the individual characteristics of the Patavi Dhatu, earth element. Okay, so also Abo Dhatu, Tejo Dhatu, Vayo Dhatu, and so on. They have their own characteristics. So that's why we can see these things very clearly. So whenever Patavi Dhatu, earth element is in our body, maybe any part of our body, we can easily recognize because it becomes distinctive with its characteristics. Okay. So that's why these 18 rupa, okay, they are called Sabhava Rupa. Sabhava Rupa. And also Sa Lekhana Rupa. Okay, Sa Lekhana Rupa. So Lekhana is also, we sometimes it is translated as a characteristics, also mark. Here also we can say mark. So someone with a mark, okay, on the face. So for example, on their forehead they have a mark. On their cheeks they have a mark. On their nose they have a mark. Like that sort of person with a mark is called Salakana. Okay. So also here, these rupas, these 18 rupas, starting from the Patavi Dhatu up to the Ahara, they are with their marks. Okay. So when we study or when we observe these rupa, okay, Patavi, Abo, Tejo, Vayo, and so on, so we can see the rupas. The mark of the rupa is they are impermanent. Patavi Dhatu just arise and dissolve. Abo Dhatu also the same, arise and dissolve. So also what the other elements, for example, Jivi Dhatu arise and dissolve, arise and dissolve. So they don't last forever. Okay, they are with the mass of impermanence. Why we are observing? Okay, when this Patavi Dhatu arises, we observe it. Why we are observing? They disappear. Okay, they disappear. So because they have a mark of what arising and dissolving. Okay, so we can understand that it has a characteristic of impermanence. So then we move to the Abo Dhatu, and then we check, we examine, we comprehend that Abo Dhatu. At that time also Abo Dhatu what we come to know is arise and dissolve, impermanence. So all abodhatu dissolve and new abodhatu arises. Okay. In this way, so they are with the mark or the three characteristics. This is three common characteristics. So every rupa, 28 rupa, they are with the marks. So flags on their head. Okay. So we can see on their head there is a flag. The flag shows that I'm a nature, I'm an impermanence, I'm in dukkha, I'm in suffering. And then I'm an anatta, no soul, no self. So with the flag on their head. Okay. So that is called Salakana Rupa. That's why they are called, these 28 rupas, they are called Salakana Rupa. Okay. Sabhava Rupa, Salakana Rupa. Okay. For the so remaining rupas, let's study from number 12. Okay, Pariccheda, Vinyati, Vikara, Lakkhana. These 10 rupas, they are not there. Not with their own characteristics. Okay, that's why we can call among the 28 rupa. The first 18 rupas are Sabhava Rupa. And then the last 10 rupas are Asabhava Rupa. Okay, Asabhava Rupa. For example, in that case, to make them clear, we can say what? So if we speak, okay, then we make a sound. At that time, so Vaji Vanyati is there. Okay. Vaji Vanyati Rupa, it will be explained here. Kaya Vanyati, Vaji Vanyati. Vaji Vanyati Rupa is here. Not really the sound. The significant manner. Okay, a significant manner or the manner or the what Vayodhatu. Okay, the significant manner or the Vayodhatu. So the body, when we want to say something, then we move our jaws and then we make a sound. So that is significant manner. Okay, that significant manner is a goal, Vaji Vanyati. Okay, so in that case, we may say, together with the Vaji Vanyati, there arise eight rupa. Okay, 8 inseparable matters. So that we will explain later. So altogether 9 rupa arises. So among the 8 inseparable matter, like Patavi, Abo, Dejo, Vayo are there. These Patavi, Abo, Dejo, Vayo are produced by the Chitta. Okay, produced by the Chitta. But the significant manner, that is Vinyati. So that is actually not produced by the Chitta. Okay, not produced by the Chitta. So, but because it is a God, it is said that it is produced by the Chitta because it arises together with the other 8 rupas, which are mainly produced by the Chitta, consciousness. That's why it is also called Chitta born matter. So, actually, in Myanmar, we go, in Burmese word, we go what? Burmese people, they wear what? Earring. So in the earring, they put a sort of jewelry or maybe diamond or whatever. So if we wear earring, and then so when the light flashes on that, so not only the earring become very bright, but also the cheeks also become bright. Okay. So in that case, the Burmese people they say, "Shwena down jao pa biam." Pa became the cheeks became bright, not because of the cheek itself is bright, but because of the earring. So also here, Vinyati Rupa is like that, because it is, even though it is said to be produced by the Chitta, not really produced by the Chitta. Chitta, what the Chitta produces is eight Avinibhoga Rupa in seven matters only. That's why they are, this Vinyati Rupa is not really ultimate reality. Okay. So that's why they have no real characteristics. Okay. They have a characteristics, but it is characteristic of a concept, panyati characteristics. So, but for the other, Patavi, Abodi, Jovayo, up to the Ahara, nutriment, they have their own characteristics. That's why they are called the Sabhava Rupa. For the Salakana Rupa is, as I explained you, people, they are Aneja, Dukkha, Anatta, okay, right, impermanence. They have a, on their head, but we are body, your wayo, up to the ahara, nutriment. These Rupa, they have a flex on their, red flex on their head. Okay, they are with the marks. The mark is the same. Okay, they are nature, dukkha, anatta. Okay, impermanence, suffering, and also arising, dissolving, upajaya, sandati, jarada, anijada. Okay, so arising by presence and then dissolve. Arise, present, and dissolve. Ubada, titi, benga. So because they have such a characteristics, so with these characteristics we come to know, oh, this these rupas are impermanence and suffering. Because of impermanence they are suffering, and also because of suffering we cannot change that one. And that's why we cannot say it is our own or our soul or self and so on. So that's why in the Anatta Lakkhana Sutta, so the Buddha explained the months, group of 5 months, that Rūpam Bhikkhave, Nejjanva, Anejjanvadi. Okay, the Buddha asked, months, whether Rupa is nature or anicca, permanence or impermanent. Then months reflect or contemplate on Rupas like this, like we do now. They contemplate, but whether it is really permanent or impermanent. So while they are observing, they see, but Dhatu arises. After some time, it dissolves. Oh, and then but Dhatu take place. In this way, they found what the impermanent nature or the Dhatu, so on. So that's why, because these 18 rupas, they are with the marks of the anicca, dukkha, anatta, and also obada, titi, venga, rising, but existing, and also dissolving. So, for example, for the akasa dhatu, for the here akasa dhatu number 12, they are the remaining rupa, akasa dhatu, vinyati, vikara, lakkhana. So the remaining rupas, they have no such a characteristics. No, they don't have such a marks. So that's why they are not they are alakhana rupa. Okay. So but the 18 rupas, they are called salakhana rupa. And then nibbana rupa. Nibbana rupa is Nippadiyade. It should be produced. Okay, it should be produced by the conditions. Something that should be produced by the condition is called Nibbana. Okay, so for the existence of something, there should be another condition. Because of these conditions, they arise. So such sort of materiality are called Nibbana Rupa. So Nibbana Rupa is the Rupa materiality that has been produced by the other conditions. And the conditions we will study the 4 conditions for the arising of the materiality that is here. Kamma, Chitta, Uddu, Ahara. Okay. Kamma, our action, volitional action, and also Chitta, consciousness, and also Uddu, temperature, Ahara, nutriment. Okay, these 4 are the conditions for the arising of the Rupa. So these 18 Rupas are conditioned by these 4 things. That's why they are called Nibbana Rupa. So unlike the Agasa Dhatu, Pariccheda Rupa, the space. Suppose if we put 2 fingers, so then between 2 fingers there is one space. That space is not produced by the Kamma or Chitta or Uddu or Ahara, but because of the two things are there. Because of having 2 things, we have one space. So that's why the remaining 10 rupas, they are not Nibbana Rupa, they are called Anibbana Rupa. Okay, but these 18 rupas for the Patavi, Abha, Vayo, okay, they are produced by the hardness and softness, okay, happen in our body. Then we can see because of the Gamma, or sometimes because of the Chitta, okay, when the Chitta, when there is a mind very strong, then the body also becomes stiff, okay. So sometimes because of the Uddu temperature, if we put the liquid into the fridge, okay, then the liquid becomes solid. Why? Because of the temperature. So temperature made them solid, hardness. Okay, when we reduce the temperature, okay, then it turns to be liquid again. So in this way, Uddu also make Patavi, Abha, Vayo, and so on. So that's why they are called Nibbana Rupa. Nibbana Rupa means the Rupa produced by the one of the 4 conditions. Okay, that is Nibbana Rupa. So 80 Rupas are called Nibbana Rupa. And then another one is Rupa Rupa. Rupa Rupa. So if we want to emphasize, so something the real nature, with their real nature, we mostly say repeatedly. Okay. In Bali, it is called what? In Bali, here we have many such words: Rupa Rupam, Mula Mulam. Okay, and also what? Dukkha Dukkha. So one thing is very obvious: Dukkha Dukkha. We have many different kinds of dukkha. Dukkha, dukkha, sankhara, dukkha, viparinama, dukkha. Dukkha, dukkha is a real dukkha. Naturally, it is a dukkha. Okay, for example, pain. Pain is a painful feeling. Physical and mental pain, for example. Painful feeling. That is really dukkha. That associated with the Dudosa Mula Cheta or one Dukkha Sagata Kaya Vinyana Cheta. So this is real dukkha. Dukkha. So in order to differentiate from the other kinds of dukkha, the Buddha used dukkha dukkha. Okay. So another one is the sankhara dukkha, changing the conditioned It is a dukkha because of the conditioned, because it is a conditioned, okay, for the ubekha vedana, for example, ubekha vedana, neutral feeling. So neutral feeling is not a dukkha actually, but it is a God as a dukkha because to arise to happen a neutral feeling, for the rising of a neutral feeling, there are conditions. Okay, because that consciousness is produced by the conditions. So that's why it is a God sankhara dukkha, conditioned dukkha. So naturally, it is not a dukkha, okay, neutral feeling. So in that case, we call sankhara dukkha. So another one is a viparinama dukkha. So it refers to the pleasant feeling, sukha vedana. So sukha vedana is we cannot say sukha vedana is a dukkha because naturally it is a sukha. But it tends to be dukkha when it change, when it disappear. Okay, when we lost pleasant feeling at that time, that changing is called dukkha. So because of that changing nature, it is called viparinama. Sukha vedana, pleasant feeling is called dukkha. Okay, so in order to differentiate from the other dukkha, so and also in order to indicate the real nature of the dukkha, then at that time the Buddha uses dukkha. Okay, so also here, in order to differentiate from the arupa, from the other rupas, which are not really rupa, like Rūpapariccheda, space, and then bodily and physical verbal intimation, and also distinctive characteristics, and so on. So because in order to differentiate from these, they are also called rupa. So, but in order to differentiate from these rupa, so 18 rupas are specifically called as a rupa, like we call dukkha. So also mula, root. So that we can have a blend from the many different sources. Okay, so one of the source is a rupa, mula. Okay, root is a root. Okay, so that's why modifying with another word rupa. So here rupa is said. So it is said as a rupa. Okay, rupa. So that is a rupa. Dukkha, sankhara dukkha. And then the others, akasa dhadus, they are called arupa. Rupa. Okay, not real rupa. Then next one is sammasana rupa. Sammasana means contemplate. So, or do contemplate. Sammasati, we contemplate on the Vatanama rupa and so on. So among the rupa also, there are 18 rupas. So the 18 rupas start from the Batavi up to the Ahara. They are worthy to be contemplated, okay, by the insight meditation. Okay, what they do be contemplated by the insight meditation. So that's why they are called Sammasana Rupa. So what they do be, if we contemplate with the insight meditation, what we contemplate is to see the real nature. Okay, real nature is the three characteristics: anicca, dukkha, anatta. So, but we are body yoga up to the ahara, we can contemplate then to see the real nature of impermanent suffering and dukkha and no soul. So, but for the agasa dhatu, etc., we cannot. we cannot contemplate. Okay, so because they are not worthy to be. Okay, contemplate that divinely inside meditation because they don't have a characteristic, such a characteristics, nature, dukkha, anatta characteristics. Okay, that's why these 18 rupas are exceptional, called as what the samasana rupa. So they got these 5 special names. Okay, so we need to remember these 80 rupa together with their special names: Sabhava rupa, Salakana rupa, Nibbana rupa, Rupa rupa, and Samasana rupa. So on the contrary to these rupa, so the other remaining 10 rupa, we can call as a Asabhava rupa, Alakana rupa, Anibbana rupa, Arupa rupa, and then Asamasana rupa. And that. Okay, that is about the 18 rupa to be contemplated. So that the important point for us is not just to know this rupa, but to contemplate. Okay, to contemplate on this rupa as impermanence in order to see their real nature. To contemplate means not to count when you take the object, but we object, and then some people they say nature dukkha anatta. So anicca dukkha anatta. Even some people they count the beats, and then they say anicca dukkha anatta nature. It is not to count or not to recite. Here is a very important point is to see why we are contemplating. What we have to see is only Bhatavi Dhatu. Why we are seeing Bhatavi Dhatu in so this 18 rupa, then these characteristics will automatically appear because it is their nature. Okay, their nature. They have that reflex on their head. That's why we will automatically see. Then, so that is what they call samasana. Okay, then we go to the number 12. That is agasa dhatu pariccheda rupanama. Agasa dhatu. So agasa is a space. Na kasati. Kasati means to scribe. Okay, to scribe or to blow. So na kasati. It is not to be scribed because nothing is there. So if we want to write something, you should have a paper or you should have a wall. So then if there is a new wall, we cannot write there. So then, so also, so something that is not to be scribed. So that is called akasa. So absence of anything, okay, akasa, space. So that space itself is called element. That's why it is called akasa dhatu. Element here means that space. Sometimes we may confuse. That space is saddha or jiva or and so on. Okay, saddha being, or maybe this when we contemplate, we see something space. Okay, something which is a space. Other than we may compute, oh, that one is a new one. Okay, and then we may think, is it another being, sentient being, or is it a soul or self or and so on? But in order to say that this is also not the soul, not the self, not the sentient being, but only only the kind of a dhamma. Okay, so in order to say, mention that it is called agasa dhatu. Agasa. So we have 4 kinds of agasa. So in Bali, they are mentioned Ajada, Ajada Gasa, Ajada, Ajada. Jada means what? A tangle. So in the Visuddhimagga, we have the explanation. The Visuddhimagga is explanation for the whole, only for a verse. Like in the pertaining to the Samyutta Nikaya. Okay.
Sorry, Sayadaw.
Yeah, you lost the connection.
I think sometimes your connections
Yeah.
okay. So you said in the Visuddhimagga in the beginning of the verse. So after that?
Yeah, there is a verse. So that verse is explained. Only one verse. Okay, that verse is explained in the by the whole Visuddhimagga. Okay, so in that verse is from the Samyutta Nikaya. Okay, Samyutta Nikaya Bali. In that verse, there is a Jadaya, Jadita, Baja. The word Jada is there. People are entangled with the tangles. Okay, beings are entangled. Entangled means complicated. People become beings are complicated with many things to be, many things which are complicated. So jada means a tangle. It is translated as a tangle. So that what here what I want to say is ajata kasa. Okay, ajata agasa. Ajata jada is a tangle. Ajata means without tangle. No tangle is there. Okay, no tangle here means no earth, no water, no wind, and also so maybe Abba. If we look at the space, if we look at the sky, there is the space. Okay, no earth, no wind, no water, and so on. So also the underneath our wall also. So there is space. Okay, so that space is called Ajadakasa. Something which is not mingled or not mixed with any other thing. Okay, so that they go Ajadakasa. It is open space. Okay, like a sky. Okay. Then another one is that is number one types of akasa. Another type of akasa is a Pariccheda akasa. Pariccheda. Pariccheda means for example, we make a hole, okay? We make a window or we make a door. So if a door frame is there, so if we keep without installing the door leaves or window leaves, then what we see between that frame is called Pariccheda agasa. So that space is limited by the frame. Okay. Okay, that sort of thing is called Pariccheda agasa. So that's the open. Okay, many opens are there. For example, if we bring a cup, so the cup is open. Okay, that open is called, that opening is called Pariccheda agasa. Okay. So Pariccheda means pari means from the around. Chena means make it limited. Okay? So that's why it became agasa. So example is like a window. Okay, window frame. The window frame is there. So if we didn't install window leaves or door leaves, then there is an open. That open is surrounded by something. So that is called Pariccheda Akasa. Then another one is a Kasino Gadi Makasa, Kasina Ogada, and then Akasa. Akasa is a space. That is imagination, imaginary. So imaginary space. So if we practice a samatha meditation, for example, so we make art digs. Okay, we prepare the art for the contemplation of the Batawi meditation, Batawi Kasina. Then in the very beginning, we look at that space, that art dig, and then concentrate on it, making mental note as art, and so on. So after some time, maybe 10 minutes, 20 minutes, or 30 minutes, and so on, then even when we close our eyes, there is a that image appear in our eyes, in our mind actually, my eye. So that image, then we continue to contemplate on it until we attain the jhana, and then maybe first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana, and so on. After that, after the attainment of a fourth jhana, because it is a material object, so then we, with a very sharp concentration associated with the fourth jhana, we try to penetrate, we try to see what is behind this sign of a Batawi Kasina, okay, imaginary sign. So when we remove that Kasina object and from our mind, what we see is a space. Okay, that space is called Kasino Gadi Makasa. The space acquired by removing the Kasina. Okay, so that is called what the Casino Gati Makasa. Okay, so that is very maybe difficult for us to get to see such a space. Only when we, after the attainment of the fourth jhana, and then only when we try to attain Agasananja Arupa, first Agasananja jhana, the first Arupa jhana. So it is called space object, okay, space concept object. So that is also a kind of akasa, okay, akasa dhatu. And another one is here, Pariccheda akasa, not Pariccheda, but Pariccheda. Pariccheda, something that tends to make a limit, okay, something that tends to make a limit. So that's why it is called Pariccheda. So in our body, for example, if we observe our eyeball, okay, eyeball. So Cheku Pasada is at the remain in the middle of the eyeball, okay, and also the location or the eye sensitivity is a very, very small, very tiny place. So on which, so the image appear when someone, when we put some object in front of our eye. So the image appear on our naked eye. On that very place, there is a Jaku Basada Rupa. So that Jaku Basada Rupa does not arise alone. It arises together with it is associates. We call Kalapa. Jaku Dasaka Kalapa. 10 Rupas are there. They form one group. Okay. 10 Rupas are there. They formed one group on our naked eye. And also, so on the eyeball, there is not only Jaku Dasaka Kalapa, 10 Rupas, okay, they are one group. Not only that, there is, you can see Kaya Basada. Okay, Kaya Dasaka Kalapa, another group led by the body sensitivity. They are also there. Okay, and also Bhava Dasaka Kalapa. So the Kalapa which identify which gender we belong to. Okay, they are also Bhava Dasaka Kalapa also there around our eyeball. And also, there are many other kalabas, Chedija kalaba, Uduja kalaba, and also Araja kalabas are also there. So they are, because we don't see, then we are not able to divide which one is the which, okay? Because we don't concentrate, we don't contemplate on it. If our concentration is very strong, then very deep concentration we have, we trying to observe that eyeball, and also on that eyeball there is not only eye groups of the rupa, but also body groups and then bhava groups, and then Jetaja Kalaba, Jetaja group, and also Uduja, Araja, and so on. They are also there. So how can we recognize? So the limitation is made by this Pariccheda Rupa. So because of the Pariccheda Rupa, so through the Pariccheda Rupa, we can say that from this area to that area belong to Chakku Pasada, Chakku Dasaka Kalapa. And then that Chakku Dasaka, below the Chakku Dasaka Kalapa, there is a one group of the Rupa. Or maybe behind that Chakku Dasaka Kalapa, there is another group of the Rupa. And also above the Chakku Dasaka Kalapa, there is another group of Rupa. So in this way, that Akasa Dhatu, okay, that space to make a limit, okay. So through this Akasa Dhatu, we can meditator can easily recognize, oh, they are the combination of a very many different group of the rupas. Okay, so that's that sort of space that make a limitation, make a limit to one group to another group is called Pariccheda Akasa. Okay, now in this context, among these four Akasa, what we need is only that Pariccheda Akasa. The Pariccheda Akasa, the space that make a limit among the different groups of the Rupa, it is called Akasa Dhatu. Okay, here. So that Akasa Dhatu, that's why it is called Pariccheda Rupa. The Rupa that makes a limit. Okay, that makes a limit, that makes a boundary. Okay, so that is called Akasa Dhatu. So that Akasa Dhatu regarding that is
sorry, Sayadaw.
yes.
After regarding, what is that? I couldn't hear.
Regarding this Akasa Dhatu, now we have to study this characteristic function, okay, manifestation and so on. And then you have another document, okay, I will share that document about the characteristic, etc. Okay, where is it? Let me share that one. I think that one. Rupa Lakhana. Right? This is not Lakhana. Sharing resume. Resume share. Stop. Okay. Where it is? Rupa Lakkhana. Is it not Lakkhana? Mayu share and Mayu share. One participant can share it at a time. Right? Even though I click on the resume share, okay? Okay, and then you have that document. So in that document, there are what we can see is this Agasa Dhatu, as I explained you before, it is not the real Rupa. Okay, that is the Rupa that make a with this Rupa, we come to know the limitation, the boundary of the group of the Rupa. Okay, so then this Agasa Dhatu has a Pariccheda Lakhanam. It has a characteristic of the making limit to the groups of the Rupas. Okay, as I explained you. So with this group of the Rupa, we can, with this Pariccheda Rupa, we are more easy to recognize. So it is a combination of the one group of the many groups of the Rupa, even in a very tiny place. Suppose if we look at your finger, tip of the finger, on the very tip of the finger, you can see, you can have what? Kaya Dasaka Kalapa, body sensitivity, group of the Rupa that was as a body sensitivity, and also Bhava Dasaka Kalapa, Rupa Verupa work as a gender, okay, masculine gender or feminine gender, and also Jivida Nawaka Kalapa, okay, life faculty, okay, there. So in this also Jetaja Kalapa, Uduja Kalapa, Araja Kalapa, they are there. So they are divided, okay, they are divided by this Pariccheda Rupa. Whenever these two or three or more Kalapas are combined together, so when two Kalapas are combined together, there is one space. Okay. So and also three Kalapas are together, then you can see two space and so on. So that is with these characteristics we can remember. Oh, this is the Akasa Dhatu, and also with the help of the Akasa Dhatu, we can also see beyond this part or beyond this area, that is what Bhava Dasaka Kalaba, and also Jivita Nawaka Kalaba, and so on. That's why it has a characteristic of limiting or making limitation to the groups of the Rupas. And also it has a function of what? Function of indicating the end of the each group of a Rupa. Okay? Where, for example, Jaku Dasaka Kalapa ends in which area? Okay, and also it shows the starting point of the another group of Rupa. Okay, in this way, it has the function Agasa Dhatu. The space has a function of indicating the beginning and the end. Okay, or the other groups of the Rupas. So without the Agasa Rupa, okay, so it is impossible to see where it ends, and also it is impossible to recognize. It is a combination of the many groups of the rupas, okay, in a very space. So that's why it has a function of the indicating, okay, the beginning and the end of the groups of the rupas. And then Pariyanta Pakasanam Pariyanta. And then next one is how it appears in our mind when we contemplate, okay, materialities, okay, when we contemplate on the eye, sensitivity, okay, materiality, or maybe eyeball, you contemplate, you imagine the eyeball and then or take as an object, the eyeball as an object. Then there appear, what appear in our mind. So this Agasa Dhatu will appear in our mind as the boundary, okay, boundary or the what the area or the boundary or the different groups of the rupa. Okay, so other than we may not see other rupa, other groups of rupa, but we see, oh, this is a boundary, this is a boundary. Like we go to a city or to a village, then we see many houses are recognized through the boundary. Okay, from this area to that area is the house that belong to this person, the person so and so, in this way. So also it is like a fence. It is a Agasa Dhatu is like a fence. Okay? It appears as a fence in our mind when we contemplate, when we practice the meditation on the materialities. Then what is the proximate cause? What is the proximate cause for the arising of this Agasa Dhatu? Pariccheda Padathanam. Pariccheda means something that should be limited. Okay, something that should be fenced. Okay, so this is called Kalabas. Okay, group of the rupas. So without the existence of the group of the rupas, Agasa Dhatu will not be there. Suppose on a land, so people don't use, there is no fence at all. Okay, people, they don't make any limitation. This area belong to me or that area belong to you and so on. They don't make. So the fence or the limitation appear only when there is the owner or the different areas. So also here, the different groups of the rupa, the existence of the different groups of the rupa, so they are the proximate cause for the arising of the Agasa Dhatu, the space. Okay, so here, studying from this Agasa Dhatu, you can see that previously, other 18 rupa, or among the 14 rupa, the 14 rupa, they are what? Their proximate cause is the same, okay, for great element. So because they are produced by the, directly produced by the four great element. Okay, but for the Agasa Dhatu, starting from the Agasa Dhatu, the proximate cause for them is no longer a four great element. Okay, so from that point also we can see, we can understand that this Agasa Dhatu is not the real ultimate reality, not the real rupa, but the concept. Okay, because depending on other conditions, it appears. Okay, so here also, because of the existing or the another element, another group of the rupa that should be limited. So that's why this Agasa Dhatu appear. Okay, so that is something about the Akasa Dhatu. So today we study the 5 significant nature of the 18 Nibbana Rupa, as well as Akasa Dhatu. Akasa Dhatu, even though it is not a real Rupa, it is really helpful for us to be able to design the group of the Rupas. Okay, group of the Rupas are there. Even in a very tiny space on our body, there are, with the help of the when Akasa Dhatu, we will be able to design. Okay? They are the coexisting nature or the many group of the element. Okay? So with this, we will conclude for today. Thank you so much for listening. Buddha Sasanam Jiran Daitadu, Buddha Sasanam Jiran Daitadu, Buddha Sasanam Jiran Daitadu, Sadhu, Sadhu, Sadhu.